Hello, 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 and welcome back to Anime Channel. My name is Katie, and today we are finally going to talk about Attack on Titan Season 3, Episode 1. You will be able to watch the reaction highlights on YouTube because I've never had any trouble, copyright issues with any of my Attack on Titan videos. So for now, you can still find the reaction highlights in this video. Quick shout out to Almanza. Thank you so much for becoming a new patron this month. I really appreciate it. Louis is a level 6 patron, so he gets to add an anime onto my short list, planning to watch list. I have a list of 20 anime that I am going to react to in that order. Angel Beats, the anime that you chose, was already on the list, so after your first pledge I bumped it up one space on the list, so I think it went from 8 to 7, I'm not sure, or 9 to 8, and then for every month that you pledge I will bump it up another space until I get to react to it. So very excited about that. For this video, however, we are talking about Attack on Titan, so enjoy the reaction highlights. If you want to see the full reaction, that is available on Patreon. And at the end, I have a very big review planned. I have watched the episode by now. I have not done the review. I took a little break to just let the episode sink in. And yeah, then I'm going to do the review. Oh, new opening. This is exactly what I didn't want. I'm getting emotional. What? Oh. Fuck, this is like that was like an AMV. Like that was too beautiful. That was AMV feels. But it ends a little bit abruptly, but it's okay. Smoke signal. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm watching it. What the fuck? Look how skinny he is. I'm so sorry for him. Wait, what? Wow, Krista. I mean, Historia.
やっとまともに話したな。
みんなに優しくていい子のクリスタはいないの。
いや、なんかその方がいいんじゃね。今のお前は別に普通だよ。ただ
Aww.
のバカ
Look
少
how
女。
good he looks.
そういえば俺も
Wasn't that?
俺もいやいろいろ
In a lot of ways, I.
死んだんだよ。
Did he kill himself? Did he kill himself?
殺されたんだ。
Murdered?
今朝。
おい、現場を荒らす気か調査へ。勝手に近づくな。
そんなわけないだろう。爪が剥がされていたぞ。
His nails were torn off. So that's torture.
そんなに不思議か。お前らのような出がらしと違って使える兵士は今忙しい。ウォール教の信号は高価な鉄製だと知られている。
ニックはウォール教の司祭だったのに。
Valuable iron? Why? What iron?
でも私はニックのすべてを知ってるわけではなかったということなのでしょう。
Why is his hand hurt?
話せ。
Why is his hand hurt? And the Nick Pastor Nick guy looked like he was punched in the face. Bitch, you guys, I'm suspicious of everyone fucking high up in the
いうことなのでしょう。
おい、
Look,
話せ。
they're the ones that fucking killed
司
him.
祭はこうお伝えください。
Please tell them
やり
this.
方にはそれなりの正義と大義が。
She's talking to this guy straight in the
悪
motherfucking
党ども
face.
は必ず私の友人が受けた以上の苦痛をその身で生きながら体験することになるでしょう。ニックは中央憲兵に拷問を受け殺されたんだ。
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. You bastards, why did you do
ウォール
it?
教
ニック司祭を拷問してどこまで我々が
Yes.
喋ったか聞こうとしたんですか？
Because they're evil.
だろうな。あいつはバカだったとは思うが、自分の信じるものを最後まで曲げることはなかったらしい。
Wow.
ただ、その中央の
Someone in the government is up to no good and their eyes are fixed on us.
手
Exactly.
をつけられたのは確かだろうな。すべての痕跡を消せ。調査兵団の壁外調査を全面統一。
Mm-hmm.
エレンとヒストリアを引き渡せってな。
まるで犯罪者扱いじゃないか。
もう裏でどうこうってレベルじゃねえな。
Why do they want to protect the wall's
手
secrets?
に入れたい理由だ。
さあな。とにかく敵はこの二人を狙ってることがはっきりした。こっちも敵の顔くらいは確認する。ハンジ、お前の班から何人か借りるぞ。
もちろん。これユミルとベルトルトが話していたことで思い出したことがあって
Oh.
話す時間がなかったんだよ。ここに。
See, now I have to rewatch season 2. I don't remember. Did we hear any conversation? Is it a conversation he heard off screen? I don't know.
それ期待方が違うからな、あのチビは。
Are you talking about Levi? Levi?
古いな。
In the opening song, there was scenes of Levi when he was young. So, and that was never a big, like, we've never seen him, like, we saw him in that one OVA as an older, like, when he was already established and stuff. But now this was him as a child, and there was a lot of focus on that. And there's a lot going, like, their enemy. That's what I've been saying from the start. The enemy has looked like it all since season 1, season 2. The enemy has always come from outside. But why are they the enemy? Because of, and it's the same in any war. The higher ups of this place make enemies with the higher ups of this place. And they're the ones fucking fighting over something. And these people, the lower people, the working class, and those below working class get fed propaganda that they're evil, and that, no, these people get fed that they're an evil whatever, and these people get fed by them that all of them is evil. And then they end up, the higher ups don't get their hands dirty, but they use the people to fight each other, always thinking that, you know, they're evil, but the real evil people are here, and they should figure it out. And you guys, you should figure it out. They're the evil ones. Oh, the king's coronation. While rewatching season 1, I noted the hierarchy and what kind of monarchy or whatever they had. I'll share that file that I made so far of my notes from season 1. I think I did episode 1 to 14. I will put a link to my notes. I'll complete them one day when I get to rewatch. Lord Reyes? Is that Historia's father? That is set in motion? What is that? Who said that? Him? Is this the king? This is the king. That's the king. This is the king. Ooh. The military, and we must. It's necessary. There is a need to raise the public's approval of the royal family because of all the shit that's been going down. More importantly, and the rumors about Eren and the wars. More importantly, we need that power and the vessel. What power and the vessel? Is that? Does that refer to Eren? Because didn't someone refer to him as a vessel once? I know, but we must hurry. And then the military police failed again. So the military police failed to find out where they are or how to get them. That is it. What is that? And was it the king who said that? He's a bad guy. Oh, Jesus Christ. So this was on purpose. They took the guy, what's his name again? What? Don't do it. I hate it. I hate it when fucking the Promised Neverland does that as well. They say, oh, I'm gonna tell you something, or can I ask you a favor? And then they do it off screen. Off screen! Mikasa's a queen. Yes, bitch! She's amazing. What's the message? What's the message? You lived with him for a while when you were a kid? Why would he be making a joke? Oh dear God. Oh dear God.
Yeah, Levi.
Who the fuck? Who the fuck is that? Who the fuck are they? So the amateurs was just to make them think their body double plan worked, but then Kenny the fucking Ripper, who the fuck knows who this bitch is now, he was trailing the real them. Oh, come on now. They have so many enemies already. Why add more? When are we going to see them win? So far the scouts haven't done anything but lose soldiers. When are we going to start winning? That is fucking life, dude. There is so many enemies. Everyone fighting for their own everyone trying to get a piece of the pie. That's the whole point. Whoa, when did it just start raining this much? It was sunny today. Oh, that's probably why it was really hot today. So maybe the, I don't know, nature, heat rises, clouds form, rain. Ridiculous. It is, like, I totally get where this person is coming from. The feel of, oh my god, seriously, we haven't even figured out who the, like, there's Ymir, where does she come from? What's that blonde guy's name? Burly blonde guy. Like, where are they from? Beast Titan. Fucking a king. Military police, which is with the king. Now, Kenny the Ripper. Like, it does feel that way, but at the same time, I know the depth of the story. It's all coming, it's working towards something. They all want something. They're all, and like, fuck, that's how it works. Like, there's, in any fucking country, if you think about it, this country is at war with, or let's say country. This country is at war with that country, but inside the country, the higher ups are usually trying to, you know, use the lower people, and inside the lower people, there are people that are trying to, you know, there's enemies everywhere. That's how it works. That's how it works. And it's just, and the thing is that it's all people trying to get stuff. And they're all trying to get it for themselves. And that's where the problem comes in. Okay, so I'm very glad that I get to share my reaction highlights on YouTube for Attack on Titan. Although it's not much effort to watch the reaction highlights on another platform, I feel like when the reaction highlights are on YouTube, the interaction in the comment section is just a lot better. So I really appreciate that, and I hope that for the whole season I'll be able to do it on YouTube. If I do encounter a problem in the future with reaction highlights and putting it on YouTube, I don't know if maybe the studios changed for this new season. That could be an issue, I'm not sure, but you guys know I will do my best to upload it to YouTube, and if I need to, just upload the reaction highlights to another platform. For now, however, it does seem to be fine on YouTube. If this video gets blocked, you'll know, and then we'll just do it differently for the next video. I have a big review planned, so this is going to be long. I start putting in music in my videos because it just gets too repetitive, because honestly my reviews are just really long. And I decided to give you guys the option of listening to your own music, because if I can only use the copyright free music that I have, yeah, it just tends to get repetitive, and I didn't want that to make anyone feel like I don't want to listen to the review because the music is so irritating. I don't know. Attack on Titan is the exact kind of anime that, this is why I want to do reviews. This is what I love. I love watching an episode like this and then getting to talk about it, getting to pick it apart. I really love that. If you saw my notes in the description, there is a link to a Word document where I was making notes on season 1. Haven't had time to continue that, but that is what I love to do. I don't know if in another life I was some kind of movie critic, or I don't know what I might have been, but I just really enjoy talking about everything that happened and trying to figure out where this is going and the meaning behind everything, and I hope that you will enjoy that with me. Let's start with the opening song, which was very emotional. It might not be as hype as the first 2 seasons, but it's almost kind of, it reflects that emotional connection that I have, that my heart now has for these characters in this anime. So I feel like it did a really good job of that, and definitely the feel of it is much different. It's almost this nostalgic. It shows you how the first 2 seasons were all about how harsh and awful humanity could be. This is like that, this opening was like that glimmer of hope of how the beautiful side, you know, that there inevitably is in each person. Personally, therefore, I really enjoy the new opening song. There was a lot that jumped out at me. We saw the the main cast all kind of as children, like Levi, fuck, why do I always forget? It's not that I can't say his name, I've asked before and now I just forget every time. We saw Armin, Mikasa, Eren, all as children. We saw even I think Erwin when he was younger. And I just like to emphasize how that reflects that beautiful part of humanity. It's so much more apparent when we're children that we've all got that, you know, spark of innocence in us. And it seems as we grow older, life kind of gets in the way and we lose that childlike beauty that is inevitably in each person. But through the opening song and showing us these characters as children, and it kind of, I feel like it really does show us that we were all children once. We all still have that spark within us, and I really enjoyed that. Even there were parts in the opening where it was just this hand and then it was like these sparkles and then it was cut open, and that cut open, now that I'm thinking about it, it immediately makes me think of a cult. You know how you have to cut your hand open, like I think it was a stupid movie reference, but The Hangover, the first movie I think, where Alan or I don't know who, they cut there has to be that initiation. So that's what that made me feel like. It's almost like a rite of passage, like going from being these kids and living in this you know, the world just looks beautiful and magical to us, and us ourselves, we are so innocent. We kind of, there's this rite of passage, this loss of innocence, and then things become harsh and the world seems like this dark and gloomy place. So yeah, that's kind of my first impression of the opening song. Now we're going to talk about the episode as a whole and what stood out to me. And honestly, I don't know if I'm ready because my voice has been very, like, I've been losing my voice a little the last 2 days, and it's been very sore. So great that on the peak of this whole thing that's happening, I have to review one of the anime that makes me talk the most. Damn, I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's going to be crazy. So the anime starts with Eren with really longish hair, and he's looking out at the ocean, and he talks about Armin, who always told him that there was an ocean, but he's always wondered, okay, if there's an ocean, what's beyond the ocean? And that's very interesting to me because he's been behind the walls his whole life, and he's been told about this ocean, but he's not thinking just past the walls. He's thinking past that ocean, you know? So it reflects humanity's desire to discover, create, find new information more. Like it really reflects a part of our humanity, not just theirs. I think it's a part of every one of us. We want to discover, we want to find things, we want to learn things. It sounds silly when I put it that way because we all hate studying, or so we think. I believe that if you are learning about something you're passionate about, you would study for hours without getting tired because it's something you're passionate about. It's something that hits a chord or that connects with your life purpose, maybe with your soul. And Eren's desire to know what's beyond the ocean, it's so beautiful to me because each one of us has that desire to go beyond an ocean, but our oceans are different, if that makes sense. Like, some people want to go to space, other people want, like, our forefathers wanted to find new lands, and chefs want to find new ways to make food taste good, and what could work together, what can, you know, like, there's all these different kinds of oceans, and we all are kind of looking for, we're looking towards past the ocean. Like, we want to know more, be more, learn more, have more. And often it's looked down upon, like, oh, people will never be satisfied, they always just want more. And yes, there's a negative side to it, but I also think there's a pure and natural side to it. Okay, so that the opening sequence made me think of that, and that's a part of how this anime really, it's almost like the whole anime is a symbol or a metaphor for our lives. You know, the titans, there might not be real titans, but I think the Titans symbolize a part of humanity. There might not be the ocean might not mean a literal ocean. It might, like I said, it might all be reflecting, or it might all symbolize something in our own lives. And that's why I love this anime so much. It feels like it's this big message to humanity to look at ourselves differently and learn about ourselves and question our methods and question the madness, and maybe find a little bit of truth, and maybe discover that, you know, all these monsters that we're fighting, maybe we're just fighting ourselves, you know. The opening sequence, other than it brought all of those thoughts up in my mind, it also made me think it seems like that's coming from somewhere in the future in the anime, because then Eren has longer hair, so clearly it's not happening now. It was like a flash forward. The anime then continues to show us that those top 10 cadets are now in, or have been chosen to form the new Levi squad. Eren is clearly used to Captain Levi's methods because he seems so frustrated with the others for not, you know, understanding, like, let's get this place clean. The initial part, that whole scene really just kind of put us, or reintroduced the characters to us. Sasha stealing food, Mikasa's working out, Armin was talking to, I think, Sasha about becoming, like, why were they now included or chosen to be in the new Levi squad. You can see some conflict between him and Eren. So the opening part of the episode is definitely kind of reintroducing them all to us. I don't think there's much more to it than that, other than Historia is clearly much different from how she used to be. She's not as bubbly and nice. She's very quiet. The part where Hanj shows up and the experiments on Eren starts was really kind of emotional for me, because it showed him, like, I feel like it showed him in a lot of pain, how difficult it must be for him. And since you guys know Eren is one of my favorite characters, I really felt sorry for him because he so badly wants to help, but without any guidelines. I mean, he doesn't know his own powers. So I feel like that made me feel really sorry for him, and he looked so, as a Titan, he looked so emaciated, and it probably has to do with maybe his need in that moment. We've seen in the past how he can change into a Titan kind of based on what the situation calls for. When he needed to protect Mikasa and Armin in the past, if he was literally just a Titan corpse, he didn't need to do any more or be any more. Although sometimes I have wondered while rewatching season 1, was it because that's all he needed, or was it because his body was so tired after being a Titan for so long? Maybe he tried to turn into a full Titan, but because of how tired his body was then, he wasn't able to turn into anything more than just that hollow shell of a Titan. At first I thought, you know, his Titan form takes on, like, only when he needs to become a Titan. There was other scenes from season 2 where he didn't want to fight necessarily. He didn't feel the need. He didn't want to fight. I think it was Annie. It was Annie, and he couldn't change into a Titan because the situation. It's almost like the situation didn't call for it. But I'm kind of more sure now that it isn't so much just whether he wills it or not. Well, yes, it is whether he wills it, but it's not what the situation calls for, because it also has to do with what his body is capable of doing. And the reason I'm pausing is because there's another situation, I don't remember exactly where it happened, where he was supposed to turn into a Titan and then he couldn't, and then something like a spoon fell or something and he grabbed it and his hand turned into a Titan or something. That's still kind of a mystery to me. Like, I guess it all comes down to, can he control it or not? Maybe his control over it isn't as good. It's probably about his will. but also what his body is actually capable of doing, which I wonder why he couldn't turn into like a strong titan in this scene. He was literally anorexic, emaciated, and I wonder why. Has the experiments been happening for a few days and his body just doesn't have the nutrients anymore to change? That's very interesting, and it just, and I'm pretty sure it will be revealed later on when we find out why he can turn into a titan in the first place. It's still very mysterious. Anyway, the experiments are all obviously, to seal the hole in Wolmeria, but clearly they don't know how to do it. And Levi says something interesting, like, if only there was a handbook to teach them, about the hardening ability. I'm trying to remember now, how much do they know? They know about, for example, Annie, who hardened herself basically in this thing. I wonder where Annie is, like, where's her body being stored? And they also know about the titans in the walls, but those are titans. They're not in those same shells that Annie was in. So I'm interested to know about the hardening ability myself. I kind of relate to Hanj, she's so fervently interested because it's so interesting. Like, Annie she hardened herself in this case, but the titans are in the walls. Are they hardened? Are their bodies hardened with the same material? Can those titans come back to life? Will the sun shine on them, make them come back to life? How are we going to get Annie to come back to life? Like, so many questions, and this episode really didn't answer any of them. We just kind of got more questions. We received some information on Historia and her family. Her father is apparently like a Lord Race, and we probably did see him when the internal military was with someone the gray-haired guy who looked like a king, and then Lord Race was there. Lord Race. And I think that's Historia's father. But then they were talking about, as far as I can realize, they were talking about getting Historia and Eren the power and the vessel. Like, that is like, what is that? Is Eren the power? Who's the vessel? What is this vessel you're talking about? And they were also talking about making sure that the lower people stay loyal to the royal family, because and this is where things start to get really interesting. Remember, I think during the reaction I talked about how there's the Titan side, and then there's the people behind the walls, but they're enemies. But them aside, inside any monarchy or any country or whatever society, there's always the rich, the middle class, the poor, and the majority of people will always be poor, because it's like, or not always be poor, but it's definitely, I don't want to put it this way, but it's easier to be poor than to get rich for various reasons, So there's always this minuscule rich group, the average group of people, the working class, and then but it's like a pyramid, because the top has the power and the bottom part maybe not, doesn't have the means or the will or whatever it takes to get to the top, whether that's with good intentions or bad intentions, or good methods or bad methods, whatever. There is this pyramid in society where the rich is on top, and the rich, just like, they need the poor people for things like, making clothes, building houses, all the hard labor, like, because the rich doesn't want to do that. And then you have the middle class who does other things, like each each class, social class, has their role in society, and to some extent, one can't live without the other. If you have a giant group of people, they kind of need a leader. People need leaders, otherwise we don't progress as a society as well as we could. So we need leaders. I'm not saying, well, hopefully we need a good leader, but more often than not, the leaders, these people on top, end up getting corrupted by the money, by the power, and they, at some point, they get maybe scared that they're gonna lose that money and power. They just want to accumulate more and more. This is the negative side of that wanting more that I talked about. So they find ways to kind of keep the poor people poor and, you know, keep that status quo, because to some extent it is necessary that there is a hierarchy, but being poor doesn't mean, like, they don't have to, there doesn't have to be famine and like, you know, because the rich people can take care. Like, if you think about our society, if all the rich people gave all their money away, the world, like, poverty it wouldn't exist. But that, now we're talking about a communist state. We've been talking about that a lot on Twitch. Communism, and that on paper it sounds like it's gonna work, but it's not. It doesn't. It wouldn't work. Sorry, it's getting really hot the more I talk. So now this pyramid, this societal pyramid, is very apparent to me in this episode. It's like the Titans. We've learned mostly about the Titans and the enemy from the outside, but now we're starting to see how the society inside the walls work. There's the poor people, the middle people, and then the king. And like I said, often the people on top want to keep the poor people poor and ignorant and loyal, because they use them for their own, to forward or progress their own riches and power, you know. In South Africa it's common as well, where political parties, they want to keep the poor people ignorant. They want to, because ignorant people, poor people who don't have access to good education and can learn to think for themselves and have access to all those things, those people are easy to manipulate, because you show them a picture, like propaganda is just easier to implant into people's minds when they aren't educated. And it's not that poor people can't be educated, it's just that they don't have the means, they don't have, so that's why the people on top want to keep them there, you know, because if they get access to good education and stuff and start learning to think for themselves and developing their mental faculties, they'll learn that maybe they don't need, or maybe the society is pretty fucked up. Maybe we don't need those. We need a new system, and that's what the people up here want to avoid. So this is what this episode really reflected for me. It showed how that class system is very apparent in this world, and it might be that the enemies are really like these people, the common folk. They're so scared of the Titans, but maybe their real monster is right above them, you know. It certainly seemed that way in this episode. That king does not look like a good guy. The internal military, they do not look like good guys. Fucking pulling people's nails out and shit. That is not good. No. It's not good method. You do not do that. And that's one of the things I love about Fairy Tail, for example. If you think about the last episode where Lucy found out about Brandish's past and Brandish found out about how her mother was killed, Lucy and Fairy Tail, they don't torture or kill their enemies. They never do. And that's one of the things I love about Fairy Tail, because it shows that there's always another way. And Brandish tries to tell Lucy, stop being so ignorant, you're going to get yourself killed. But at the end of the day, they never do things dirty. They never play dirty. And yeah, they've had some people getting killed, but I mean, a lot of Fairy Tail characters have suffered probably because Fairy Tail doesn't choose to play dirty, but they always come out good on the other side. You can't have a good cause and then do something like, you can't, let's say you want to help a child, but you need to pull out this person's nails to get information to help a child. You cannot solve something, and you cannot do good through evil means. It never turns out good. So my conclusion is based on how the internal military tortured the pastor Nick. They're the bad guys. The fact that they're working with the king, the internal military police, the fact that those kind of people are working with the king, tells me that the king is a bad guy. There's no good guy. Not in this, no. And now I'm wondering, Pastor Nick was part of this religious group that knew about the Titans and the walls. But it seems like he was manipulated by, let's say, the royal family. Maybe the royal family made up this religion or to hide certain things about the truth about the Titans, and because in real life, religion was used to control people. Because if it's the same way when you have a child and you teach them, you have to be good this year, otherwise Santa's not going to bring you presents. I watched an episode of Friends, and Ross tried to teach his son about Hanukkah. So he said, because Ross is divorced, so when their child is with the mom, Santa comes to visit them every year. But now for this specific holiday, the boy Ben was with Ross, and he wanted to teach his son about Hanukkah. So he said that Santa Claus isn't coming this year. This year we're focusing on Hanukkah, and we're going to learn about Hanukkah. And immediately the child says, was I bad this year? Is that why Santa isn't coming? So you see how something as simple as Santa Claus is used as a tool to control a child's behavior. When a child is doing something naughty, you can just immediately tell them Santa's not going to give you any gifts if you're keeping naughty, and then the chances are it's more likely that they'll stop being naughty, because there's this reward system. There's this person that's going to bring them a gift or coal. That's a reward system that you do good things and you get toys. You do naughty things and you get coal. That is exactly how religion works, because heaven and hell. If you're a good person and you follow the rules in this book, you will go to heaven. So, and then if you do bad things, if you don't follow the rules in this book, you will go to hell. And the book was written by people. No one saw a god write the book. It was written by people. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's why I'm wondering, was this religion of the wall, was it set in place by the royal family? Was it not set in place, but just not, what's the English word for this? Created. Let's just say created. Was this religion created by, I have to think, I'm going to use a translator because there's a word for this. Afrikaans to English. Established. That is the word that I was looking for. Was this religion of the walls and the Titans that Pastor Nick was a preacher of, was it established by the royal family as a facade? But that doesn't mean Pastor Nick was a fake. He probably believed in it, but someone somewhere started it, and I don't think that, personally, I don't think I don't want to say this, but religions, it might have positive good roots, but somewhere along the lines, I feel like people chose to use it as a method of control, to control people, to make sure they do good, and follow the rules, because otherwise, and that reward system, because then they're going to go to heaven, like arbitrary heaven, I don't know. And then people don't want to believe in like other dimensions, but then where the fuck do you think heaven is? What the fuck do you think heaven is, People are silly sometimes. Anyway, so the internal military is after, it seems, Eren and Historia because they want to take control of them and use them for some reason. But then they escape. And I think this person, Levi was talking about Kenny the Ripper, he seems, from my perspective, he seems to have known that they were going to, have decoys, Armin and Jean, and that's why he sent amateurs to distract them and make them believe their plan is working. But then him, Kenny the Ripper, and his team actually went after the real targets, which was Historia and Eren. Why are they after Historia and Eren? They're clearly not part of the military, the internal military. So they're clearly not working with the king. There could be many reasons. If you look at our world, there are people in power who may not have the best interest at heart for the people they're in power of. But there are also evil people within, you have the rich, the middle class, and the poor. You also have people in here who aren't all good people. Like, that's why I'm saying that you have the rich people, and they can be good or bad. I'm not saying all rich people are bad. Please don't think that's what I'm saying. But then you have that enemy, this probable enemy, and now in this group of other people, there can be more, like, societies. It's societies within societies within societies, and everyone's just trying to fucking survive. And this Kenny the Ripper looks like he has a fucking whole team of people. Where do they get their stuff from, their equipment? Like, he has fucking big ass guns. Levi's fighting with swords. Where the fuck do they get these guns from? I know that I understand that to some extent because Levi is a scout, and scouts fight titans, and titans, their guns aren't effective when it comes to titans. They need the swords to cut out the nape of the neck, which we now know is people in the nape of the neck, most probably. I'm not sure yet, because what about the little titans? Not sure if they're what they are. Because how can you, like, maybe people are turned into titans, and then you get people that can shift from titan form back, and that's when they're in the nape. But these little titans are probably people turning into titans and not being able to turn back, so clearly they won't, so they obviously have some kind of drug or something that we saw Eren's dad possibly use on Eren. If you remember those, you can look at my notes. I think I have screenshots of like a syringe and stuff, so clearly maybe Eren's type of blood makes him a shifter. He can shift back and forth. And then you have people that you could turn them into a titan, but they can't shift back, okay, through a drug. Maybe it's all from a drug, I don't know. Anyway, I was talking about Kenny the Ripper and why he has fucking guns. Clearly it's because he doesn't fight titans, he fights people. So he doesn't need swords, he needs guns. And what is his, maybe he's like this kind of bad Robin Hood, like he almost, he wants to steal from the rich, but not necessarily give to the poor, just take to himself. So maybe he's like this vigilante, but not a good vigilante. Because Levi lived with him. And Levi was kind of like, remember from his OVA, he was kind of like a Robin Hood character where he would steal from the rich and give to the poor or help people. At least sort of like Robin Hood type of character. And Levi lived with Kenny for a while when he was a kid. So maybe this Kenny guy was also kind of like, he stole from the rich, but he doesn't give to the poor. He just wants to take for himself. He's an evil. But I mean, he looks pretty. He doesn't look like he looks well dressed. His guns look clean and nice and So he's definitely not a poor person. I don't know what he is or where he came from, but it's definitely very interesting. What we do know is that he's a mass murderer, and he murders people in the... Did he say military? Did he say that... Levi said he murders people in the military, right? But why? It kind of seems like he's against the king, but at the same time, Levi looks really mad at him at the end, so he can't be a Robin Hood type character that's trying to defeat evil for good reasons, because clearly Levi is very angry at him for some reason. That's where the episode ends, and I don't even know what to say. I've pretty much said everything that came up for me while I was watching the episode. Oh fuck, Mikasa is just so fucking cool. She's the best. Aaron's still best boy for me. Still love Jean. I like Levi, but I've never freaked out about him. Maybe a little bit in his OVA because he does have some badass moves. But I'm definitely more fascinated by Erwin and his backstory and his reasoning for doing what he does. We didn't see a lot of Erwin. He was taken by the military, and Hanj is hopefully going to break him out of there. I think my favorite scene from the whole episode that I can remember and that keeps popping into my mind right now is when Mikasa is fighting off those bandits or those kidnappers. Damn, those moves. I was just like... For myself, this was a brilliant opening episode. I enjoyed every moment of it. I was hooked every moment. The characters, the style hasn't changed much. It's just like as if it's gotten a little bit more detailed. The opening is very different from what I'm used to with this series. I like that. And yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 from me. At this point, I can't even remember what my other usual review questions are. I hope that I hope that I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. If I think of something more while I edit, I'll make sure to maybe put it in my notes in that Word document, the Google document file thing. But I would love to hear from you guys. What did you think of this episode? Do not spoil. I will not be reading the comments until I am caught up with. So for my mods, don't worry too much. I will not be reading the comments of these videos until I finish. I think there's 12 episodes in total. Then I'll go back and read as much as I can. I'll take like a day off and go through all the comments. But I will not be responding to your comments anytime soon. But please do comment your thoughts. I will come back to them and we can all talk about it together. And I think season 2 starts 28th, or part 2 of season 3 starts 28th of April. Today is the 23rd of February, so I have 2 months to catch up, which is more than enough time. I'm glad that I took my time with this. I will try and rewatch more of season 1 whenever I have time and complete my notes. Very proud of my notes. I love doing this. I love everything about reviewing and anime and talking to you guys about everything and what could happen and where is this going and what could it mean. So I hope you guys enjoyed this with me as well. Would love to hear your thoughts. Anyone that actually listened up to this point probably wouldn't spoil me. So if you do want to talk about the episode, feel free to join my Discord. The link is in the description. Join the Discord and share your thoughts there. There I will read them immediately. And I just know that anyone who is a troll would not listen to this point and know to go onto Discord and share your thoughts there. That's where I will read them immediately. Okay, thank you guys so much for being here and for listening to me. I'll see you in the next episode.